Thanks, Abbott. Welcome to episode 271 of the AHRC Marathon Training Vlog. MK here with my training partner, Denny Young, and it's Sunday Church of the Long Run. Kids have 18 miles with a workout. They have 2 5-mile intervals. First interval will be 5 miles at steady state pace. Second interval will be 5 miles at marathon pace. And then they'll have a 2-mile interval at tempo effort. They're gonna float 3 minutes in between each of those intervals, and hopefully they'll feel what it is like at the end of a marathon race and have that pressured feeling without having to run 26.2 miles. All right, let's go. Today we're going to talk about how my good friend Denny Young went sub 3 at age 52 at the Tokyo Marathon. That's what I'm talking about. If you've been watching our vlog, then you'll know that Denny is a really good friend of mine and one of my main training partners. Actually, he is my main training partner aside from the kids. Played a really instrumental role in helping me get to where I am, as well as helping the kids get to where they landed so far. Today we're going to use our general aerobic run to learn a little bit more about Denny's own journey and how he was able to make his way through years of running and finally attain one of his goals, which was to break 3 hours in the marathon. Hey Denny Young, it's great to be running with you again after all this time off that I had. Did you miss me?
Yeah, sure did, Mike. Good to see you back running again.
Can you tell everybody a little bit about your personal background?
I've kind of always been a runner. Ran in junior high, high school, on the track team, but never really distance running. Was never anything really super fast or anything. Just a hobby jogger. And through my 20s and 30s, ran a lot of 5Ks and 10Ks. Ran a marathon, the first marathon I think at 29, but still was just running to finish, just to do it once. Then my first marathon was the Paris Marathon. I ran just under 4 hours and wasn't thinking I'd ever do another one. It was just kind of like a one and done, but kept running, like I said, 5Ks and 10Ks throughout my 30s, but didn't really follow much of a training plan or anything. Just running like 4 days a week, whatever I felt like doing, maybe 25, 30 miles a week at the most. And then did another marathon at 39, I think. And then again, didn't do too well. I can't remember what I did, but it was in the 340 range maybe. So when I got into my 40s, then started to have more time on my hands and started running more. I think when I got to my late 40s, I started following a plan, putting more mileage in, and ran, started getting down to lower numbers like 320, 316, 305. And then just in the last couple years, I got much more serious about it, got the idea of running sub 3.
What inspired you to go for that goal?
Well, I always thought it was unattainable. I mean, I remember when I was running in my 30s and seeing people run that fast, and I thought that would never be me. So then I started, like I said, putting on more mileage, and then I met you, MK, and followed your structured plan, and that made a huge difference. It was consistency is a big key. Got up to running 6 and 7 miles a day. Got up to running 70, 75 miles a week at the peak. Started to see the times go way down, and then took my first chance. I thought I was going to run sub 3 at New York. I had some stomach problems, didn't make it. The next year I got into Tokyo, and then had a really good training block leading up to that. No injuries or anything. And then got to the race and just hooked onto that 3-hour pacer for the first probably 20 miles of the race. Had a little bit of stomach problems midway through, but was able to manage it. Then I got to the end and started pulling away. I just felt so strong at the end. A lot of the training runs that we did were we would run 18 or 20 miles, but put a lot of marathon pace in there. Was really helpful. I mean, actually after the race I felt like the race was actually easier than a lot of the training runs that we've been doing together.
It takes a lot of ducks to get in a row in order to have a good race, not just the fitness, but like Denny talks about, getting his kind of gut in the right place and having a race where it's not 80 degrees and being healthy and not having any injuries during training, and to have just an awesome training block where you kind of knock it out of the park as well. And really tough to get all those things all together at one time for one race, which you end up only racing maybe twice a year anyways.
Right.
It's kind of looking for that unicorn moment, get everything right. I really hope that everyone out there going for a sub 3 marathon really understands that and appreciate the process, appreciate the friendships that you make with people, the fitness that you build, the healthy lifestyle that you're living. That's giant. I think it's even bigger than a sub 3. And if you're patient, your time goal will come to you. I promise. Hey Denny, what do you think was kind of key in helping you get to your race healthy?
I did a lot of different things. I think one thing you can't neglect is doing a lot of the strength and conditioning work. I usually do about 20 to 30 minutes every evening, either working the core or working the quads and glutes and stuff like that. Keep your body balanced. I think in the past I had not done that type of thing. It always led to this injury cycle of having a good 9 months or a year, then getting injured, and then recovering from that, and then repeating that. But prior to running a sub 3, I think I put together a good 2 years of a training cycle without any injuries, and so you can't neglect those parts of the training if you really want to run faster times.
Would you say that aerobic base building is also an important aspect? I think when I first met you, you were doing a lot of shorter runs, like pretty quick, and then you moved to more volume at a slower pace. Do you think that that kind of base building helped build a little resiliency for you?
Yeah, it's been a big help, just putting on the mileage and then getting that, like you said, aerobic base built up. In the past, I was more of when I was running like 4 days a week, I would just go out and get the most I could out of myself in each of those workouts. But now since running with you, I've learned to run every day and get a good miles in and do a lot of general aerobic runs and stuff like that. Really gets you strong for the hardcore training you're going to do at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you can do a larger percentage of your runs at higher quality or higher intensity and not really follow an 80-20 rule or a majority at easy pace kind of rule, and you'll be able to save a lot of time. But the trade-off will be what Denny talked about, is a 9-month training cycle rather than a 2-year training cycle. And he was able to string together good quality over 2 years and break through a plateau that he was riding on, because he was able to break away from that cycle of 9 months of training and 3 months of recovery. Running every day is pretty tough. Any advice for our All Heart family out there for those days that you just don't feel like it and you just don't want to go out for a run?
Yeah, a lot of times I wake up and don't really want to get going. I'd rather just stay in bed. But I think if you get out there, get a mile or two in your run, a lot of that feelings goes away and you just start going, and everything feels good again. You just get your shoes on, get out there and get going, and keep that consistency going. And don't fall into the trap of making excuses and not running one day, you know?
There's never a run that I've ever regretted afterwards. Definitely get out there. You won't regret it either. And Denny Hung, as a senior runner, you're way older than me. Any advice for the older runners out there, or maybe runners who are a little bit less experienced and then don't have the speed and the strength that younger, more experienced runners have? Any advice for them to go, not just to finish a marathon, but to run fast, to run under 3 hours?
One thing that we've been doing is running like 4 workouts a week. We don't really hit really high speeds. Probably the fastest we go is 5K race pace, but those workouts really build a lot of strength that you'll need, especially to finish the race. And even so, a big difference I think was the long runs, putting in good stretches of marathon pace into each one, which is something I hadn't been doing before. Following other plans, I think a lot of times they recommend, you know, just get your time on feet, but if you want to run faster, run sub 3, you really got to structure some workouts in the middle of those long runs. Even the medium long runs, we would do fartleks in the middle of those to get some tempo or threshold pace into our week. Another thing I think that made a huge difference in the first few marathons I did, I would end up at the end of the marathon even running like a 3:30 or 3:40, just absolutely dead. And since we've been running more miles and, like I said, putting in some hard work 6 or 7 days a week, I finish a marathon and feel pretty good. You know, I'm pretty able to walk around, and it's made a huge difference.
Yeah, Denny Hung and I, we definitely take more of a strength and volume approach in our training because we're just not very fast. Taking this approach has been really good for our old bones and our old legs, and dispersing intensity from 2 or 3 workouts per week to 3 to 4 workouts per week. When we were able to disperse that, able to use back-to-back days and kind of avoid doing hard workouts when we are experiencing DOMs, and squeeze in 4 hard workouts per week, we were able to get the quality that we needed, that other runners do with similar running results, but far less days of hard workouts. I also think that this has contributed to Cole and Evan's longevity, their ability to pack on mileage and avoid injury. And just like Denny Hung, they've also been able to finish marathons and not be totally wrecked. They can actually walk around, they can actually jog after the marathon. Hey, thanks Denny Hung for joining me on this awesome general aerobic run plus some recovery pace miles. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for running with me, and you provided a lot of the coaching advice. Really got me to sub 3, so I really appreciate that.
Oh, anytime. And thank you for coming with us all the way to the end of this interview with my good friend, Denny. I hope that you're able to glean some really valuable nuggets that you can apply to your own running journeys. If you found this video helpful, please like this video, help out the algorithm, get it out to as many people as possible, smash that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel a ton. You can find me on Strava by searching for Michael Kane at AHRC. Join our Strava club by searching for AHRC. Kids are finishing up a really tough 18-mile long run today. Really well done. I can't wait to talk to them about it over breakfast. It's gonna make for some good stories. All right.
Hey Hamilton, how do you feel today?
Feeling optimistic. Had a good workout with good friends and looking like there's a pathway to becoming injury-free. Got to be patient, give it some time, stay the course. All right, let's go. We hope you have a great day today and a meaningful run. We'll see you in the next one. All right, bye now.